Hey, welcome to the third reading of Chapter 4 of How to Lose a Planet, the Afrofuture epic. But along with being fodder for gamblers, stories about the castrated and dismembered were true curiosities. A dismemberment was as much a message as a mutilation. The way monarchs ordered beheadings and Caesars ordered crucifixions in the four cities, it was the crime bosses who took body parts. How did I start anyway? Her muscles felt sore and she gnawed on her thumbnail. Who wanted to look back on their career and think, if only I could have cut off a few more dicks. She exited the freeway and continued driving for 5 minutes before realizing she had missed a turn. They were now in Midtown on the edge of Quest City's financial district. The long road ahead made her feel claustrophobic. After business hours, the financial district would have looked almost like towers of space growing up out of the city. Its dark skyscrapers twinkled with white lights spilling from countless windows, mimicking the night sky. The district would have felt as cold as space too. But there were trees. Even with the moonwall's help, terraforming the moon was a process that bred with hiccups, quirks, and calamities. The most baffling challenge was that the moons appeared to be defending themselves against the terraforming in several ways. One of those defenses resulted in the giant white midtown trees, which stood as tall as the skyscrapers. The surfaces of the 7 moons originally were not very different from that of Earth's moon, except some were gray and some were yellow. The more humanity transformed the pallid and fertile crust into brownish fertile soil, the more tremors occurred. The moons were resisting, and the terraforming had transformed buried sediment, stone, and fossils into roots, which were nurtured by subsurface gases until those roots sprouted. The trees endured beyond infancy because of human and moonwall conservationists who advocated their survival and paralleled their formation to that of mountains. But nobody expected the trees to resemble mountains in height and strength. They're probably the only things that never get old. She looked at the trees, wiped away tears, and thought about the tires swinging from the tree in her childhood backyard. I feel so damn old right now. The corner of her mouth moved. It was all the smile she could muster. She counted 4 trees while driving down the boulevard. Their massive stony branches spooled through and around the skyscrapers like concrete wind and intertwined with each other like fingers. Once the stability of the trees had been confirmed, a rail system was built on top of them and their branches were incorporated as support beams. My daddy's still a piece of shit. She tried to shake the thought that she might have never left her small town and witnessed such a sight if it weren't for Brian. School was the first time in her life when she didn't have to worry about money, and not needing to work while being a student led to excellent grades and plenty of time for networking with professors and professionals. By graduation, she had multiple job offers from across several industries. For years, her mother would only say that her education and yearly stipend were provided for by an anonymous sponsor, which is odd enough to affirm her suspicion. Where she grew up, there were no such sponsors. We've got time. She eyed the car's clock and made a 3-point turn to reverse course. Kato swayed and groaned while she recalled that after the moonwall shelled several of the 4 cities' neighborhoods, salvageable material from the ruins was repurposed to help build the financial district. She looked at the clock again. I'm okay. Kato opened his eyes for the first time before he closed them immediately. Come on back to the moon, kid. She looked down the road and saw water processors aligning the right side, each like a coffee mug turned upside down, missing its handle and standing as large as a 3-story home. 11, 12, 13. She counted the processors. Water was the focus of a theory that regarded the fall of the 4 cities. The 7 moons revolved around Erda, an uninhabitable planet with countless hydrogen deposits. With terraforming being so complicated, nobody thought they'd live to see the day when Erda was inhabitable. But with moonwall assistance, humans learned the process of mining hydrogen from Erda and using it to make water by combining it with manufactured oxygen. This was essential because of the inconsistent rainfall of the 7 moons. The cost of war with the moonwall over land included losing access to moonwall sophistication with water and the technologies and expertise they used to produce it. Human hydrologists were not able to meet the moonwall standard consistently. Some cities received excellent water while others settled for water which was diluted with risky chemicals. The poorer cities received water diluted with chemicals and supplemented with whatever moisture could be retrieved from corpses and other superfluous organic matter. Polluted water may have been what drove the 4 cities mad. And polluted water may have been why powerful gangers and politicians agreed to transform the 4 cities into Quest City. One great metropolis could bargain harder for clean water than 4 dying towns. Does that make Brian a hero? She eyed Kato's slow awakening. No, he was a piece of shit.